Welcome. I'm Professor Varda Konstam, Chair of the Faculty Council, the university-wide governance body of the faculty. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed Chancellor, J. Keith Motley, who will open the main ceremony. Chancellor Motley.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you too. I love you back, you know that. Don't mess me up already. You know I'm all excited up here. Greetings. I offer my welcome, and I also declare the 43rd commencement of the University of Massachusetts Boston officially open. Make some noise. Now, I know it's windy out here, but you couldn't ask for a more beautiful day. From where I stand, you all look beautiful out there. You look handsome. You look like you're pretty cool. But I'm going to ask you to stand again because I want you to rise as graduating senior Katrina Williams sings our national anthem. Everyone rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, you can be seated now. Airplanes, wind, but guess what? We're graduating today. Congratulations, University of Massachusetts Boston, class of 2011. Now, before we begin this morning, I want to remember your classmates who cannot be with us today because they've been called to active duty as members of the United States Armed Forces. We want to remember particularly those serving in Afghanistan and also Iraq. Our thoughts and our prayers are with them, and our thoughts and our prayers are with their families as well. Now, give them a round of applause. Now, I don't know what kind of commencement you've been at before, but here today, you're allowed to clap, you're allowed to shout out every now and then, you're allowed to have a little fun, okay, because this is about a celebration today, all right? Now, many graduates among us today have served our country. Those of you that are veterans Please rise and be recognized. We thank you for your service. Stand up, veterans. Today, we also want to take a moment to acknowledge and express our deepest concern and our sympathies for the victims of Wednesday night's tornadoes in the middle and the western parts of this state. We've all been shaken by these incidents, and our thoughts and our prayers go out to all who have either been affected directly or through a family member or through a friend. And so I just want to pause for a moment to think about those folk. And now let's get into what we came here for today. The University of Massachusetts Boston was founded to provide access to academic excellence. And so the members of the class of 2011, you are living proof that we as a university are fulfilling our mission. 59% of you of this University of Massachusetts Boston undergraduates are first-generation college students. Including your Chancellor. And so I ask you now, if you're the first person in your family to earn a college degree, please stand up and be recognized. Yeah. Yes. I love it because it's going across all kinds of generations out there. It's not just those starting out in life, it's some of you that came back to school. So that's a wonderful thing. Class of 2011, earlier this spring, Governor Deval Patrick spoke on our campus at the groundbreaking for the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate that's going to be located right over to your left, my right, up on the hill by the John F. Kennedy Library, which happens to be also on our campus. Now, in his address, he encouraged us all to reclaim our optimism. He said that we must embody uniquely an American blend of optimism and effort, hope and hard work, no matter the economic or social or political climate. That can-do attitude is what I expect from each and every one of you as you prepare to take on this world. You can't let those little things knock you down. Now, being optimistic doesn't mean that you have to ignore your problems. Don't go home telling someone that the chancellor told me that if I have a problem, ignore it. It's going to be okay. That's not what I said. It means that we live. It means that we live not in denial, but in certainty that we have the power, that you and you and you and you have the power to change for the better and bring the world with us. And so it's in you. We know it's in you. So should you ever doubt your power to do so, class of 2011, I urge you to take some inspiration from some of your classmates. Let me tell you just a few stories about who's out there with you. In January of 2010, Dana Francois was in her hometown in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, when disaster struck. Since then, she's been helping Haiti recover on this ground and from this university where she's an honors student. Not just an honors student, one that's in a double major in both economics and political science. Dana, oh, I'm not done yet. Listen to Dana. Check out Dana, I'm telling you. She's a member of not one, but 2 academic honor societies. She's also a beacon leader, and she's part of the Haitian American Society. And she's also in an environmental group here on campus. And she founded that group. She has hope, and she also has a plan that's going to better the future. Now, okay, you said, but Chancellor, that's only Dana. Well, let's talk about Joseph Bukowski. Okay, listen. He served our country for 8 years, from ground zero to Iraq, before he joined. Oh, I know. Before he joined us, he did all that before he got here. Then he came here and he majored in history and also political science. He is a leader in veteran affairs on campus and at the State House, where he's testified. I had to do that yesterday, so it's not easy. He testified before the legislature. He also interned for Senator John Kerry, and he helped found the nation's first program dedicated to our veterans' mental health. And so Joe has overcome tremendous personal obstacles to get where he is, and he lifts others up with him. Is Dana out there? Is Joe out there? Stand up, Dana and Joe. Yes. Okay, but Chancellor, that's only 2. We had about 3 planes coming over too, right? Biology major and aspiring brain surgeon. Angie Moy moved to the United States from Egypt as a teenager and joined the Navy after high school. As a student, she's volunteered at Newton Wellesley Hospital, worked in neurobiological research lab at Children's Hospital, participated in student government and in Veterans Affairs. She's maintained a 3.9 grade point average. She's proof that hard work brings success. Unbelievable. Where are you at? Stand up so we can see you today. That's what I'm talking about. And after experiencing a loss in his family, hockey forward and Dean's List business major, because we make student athletes here at the University of Massachusetts, Boston. We put student back in that athlete. Eric Tuffman returned to triumph this year, becoming the first Beacon hockey player since 1994. And in the 12th in our history, to record his 100th goal, his 100th career point. He's also a scholar who received an Athletic Director's Award for his academic performance. Eric exemplifies perseverance and talent and grit. Eric, stand up so we can see you. Oh, Chancellor, you keep on coming at me with this. Here's another one. Psychology major, Tonya Nixon Silber. Tonya, stand up. I'm going to talk about you while you stand. She transferred to this university from Roxbury Community College. So when they tell you you can't come from a community college and come to this research university and do special things, tell them they're telling a tale. She comes to us from Roxbury Community College. She fell in love. She fell in love with the research that we do. See, you thought it was something else. And it quickly changed her goal from associate's degree to getting her doctorate degree here. Tonya is the Psi Chi International Honor Society chapter president here and a Grace Paley Award winner and a passionate scholar whose honors thesis addresses the problems of obesity in the African American community. What opportunities she has earned, Tonya has given them back. And so stand up. Where you at, Tonya? Yes. Hold up. But those are just a few of the stories from the 3,637 students who are earning today an undergraduate degree, and they're inspiring stories that you would not believe about this institution. Oscar Wilde once said that the basis of optimism is sheer terror. Now that might be true for some folks, but to me, the basis of optimism sits right out in front of me in you, the class of 2011. And I'm so honored and so proud to be your chancellor. So, now graduates, don't sit out there and think you did it all by yourselves. Some of you, I watched you when you were going by the window this morning. I'm all that. Look at me. I can wear one of those robes and hats too. Well, guess what? Your family, your friends, they provided much needed support and encouragement. Today's celebration is for them as well as you. I heard some of you talking about, I'm not going to come to commencement this year, Chancellor. And the first thing you know I told you was, come for your family. Come from those children that need to see you walk. Because that's what it's all about. And so I ask you to join me today. Now I know we done moved to a whole new mode of communication. So stand up, rise, and if you got to text them, okay? If you got to take whatever mode you have to, rise, turn around, and give those folk a round of applause. All of you graduates, rise up. You all can sit down now. Mom, they love you. Speaking of mom, now I know everybody up in here is important. And I want you all to feel like a VIP. I certainly feel like that way today. Still, I have some very important people here today that I need to recognize. You're not the only ones to have folk up in here with you. I'm running pretty deep today myself. First of all, I have my beautiful wife, Angela Motley, who's here. She's going to stand up. You know, as they say, I sort of married up. I know it. But that's how we do, okay? But see, all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my mom is here, Mrs. Cornelia Williams. Stand up, Ma. And my sister, Kim, is here. Stand up. Hey, they don't want me to out them, but if the Stoughton public school system is listening, there's two young ladies that snuck out of school today to be here with their dad for commencement. Kayla, who's my 9th grader, and my 5th grader, Jordan. We're going to put you right on film, and we're sending it up to those schools. Stand up so we can see you. Aren't they getting lovely and tall and beautiful? So I understand what it is to be surrounded by a caring family and friends during celebratory times like this. Those who sacrifice much to help you get to where you are. But finally today, I have to tell you a personal story. I have one other such family that's been tremendously important in my life since the time I came here as a 17-year-old, a family that immediately treated me like family more than 30 years ago. When I was an undergraduate over at that place on Huntington Avenue that they don't allow me to say on campus here too much, but they're going to give me a little pass today. It was Northeastern University. When I was trying to find my little roots and bearing, there was in this strange new city, there was a family led by Achilles and Stella Hatopoulos. And they were a couple who just sold hot dogs. Hot dogs, Chancellor? Why are you bringing that up at commencement? Well, at 17, no money in your pocket, hungry, a hot dog was a great option for somebody like me. But here's what it was. From that pushcart on Northeastern's campus, they were not faculty, they were not university administrators, but they clearly were committed to education and to the success of students like myself who came from life situations that didn't allow them to have money all the time. Because they knew what it meant to be starving, like I was at the time, they became as critical to my academic experience as everyone I encountered there at that university. They embraced me as one of their own, and they fed me when I was hungry. Sometimes when I couldn't scrape together, it was only 50 cents back then for a hot dog and a soda with onions on it. They didn't charge you for onions. Or the mustard, they didn't charge you for mustard, right? They invested in me and my future, and they let me eat. And let me tell you, I must ate hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of their food. And through their pushcart, that classroom of the pushcart, they loved and they cared for me and they instructed me. And many students on that campus were treated the same way. There's also a dean sitting out there from Northeastern. Back in those days, Gregory Ricks, he went to that cart as well. But here's the story. Their children attended Northeastern right off of that pushcart. One of their children, George, is here today, and he used to look at me like, why are you eating up all my mother and father's food? And who are you, number one? But here's the deal. The other day, I had an impromptu sort of visit with George. And I already knew, I was surprised to find out a couple years ago that his daughter was here. So today, I stand in awe because life comes full circle. In our graduate class, I will now today oversee the graduation of Alexandria Hatopoulos, daughter of George and Joanne Hatopoulos, and the granddaughter of Stella Hatopoulos. And when Stella heard about, or Mrs. Hatopoulos, I've never called her Stella, heard about it, she came out today. Where are you at, Mrs. Hatopoulos? Stand up so folk can see you. Sitting over here to my right, to your left. Thank you for those hot dogs. I hope I served you well. I love you. And that's what this is all about. So I'm proud to recognize all of you as part of today and of this commencement ceremony. So today, we also recognize the support of our University of Massachusetts Boston faculty. I will put them up against anyone at any university in this city, in this Commonwealth, across this country, across the world. Give them a round, stand up so they can see you. Give them a round of applause. Now, not only do we have those current faculty that are teaching you, among them are also retired faculty, Professors Herman Hemingway, Gene Phelan, Jennifer Radin, Marty Quilt, Professors William Perry, and Chuck Canuti are also among others who are here today. Let's give those retired faculty a round of applause. Now understand, you have now joined the ranks of 90,000 folk just like you that are alumni of this university, including members of the 50th and the 40th anniversary classes that are present with us today. Representing the 1961 graduation class of the State Teachers College at Boston, we welcome retired naval officer Ronald J. Haley. Stand up. Here on the stage, that's where they are. They're not out there with you, they're up here. Representing the 1971 graduating class of the University of Massachusetts Boston. Welcome, Kevin M. Carine. Kevin. And representing the 1971 graduating class of Boston State College, we welcome Michael J. Ring. Michael. I also want to recognize the current president of the University of Massachusetts Boston Alumni Association, Dr. Adrian Hagerbrook. Adrian. So now I want to introduce members of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees. I love the students, as you know. And so I'm so honored to have our student trustees with us today. Student trustee from our campus, Stacia Lambert. Stand up, Stacia. And also student trustee and recent graduate from the University of Massachusetts Lowell, Michael Reed. Let's give them a round of applause. Their hard work sometimes is taken for granted, but they work tirelessly on behalf of the University of Massachusetts community, and I'm so grateful to our students for being here today. And now it's my pleasure to introduce a young man who will be doing his last commencement today. He is the president of the University of Massachusetts System, President Jack Wilson, who brings greetings to us on behalf of the University of Massachusetts System. Jack, come on up and join me at the podium right here. We're going to have a lot more to say about him a little later, but we're going to sort of let him talk now. President Wilson.
Thank you, Chancellor Motley. Thank you very much. And thanks for giving me this podium right in front of your beautiful family. And Mrs. Williams, I'll tell you, as Keith's mother, you did a phenomenal job. And we're all grateful to you for the job that you did. And Kimberly, I know you had to help out there. And Angie, you keep him on the straight and narrow. So thanks so much, because he means so much to us. To faculty, trustees, President Howard, Coach Calhoun, honorary degree recipients, student award winners, families and guests, but first and foremost, our graduates, my heartiest congratulations go to you, the members of the class of 2011. And I always thought, yeah, absolutely, give yourself a round of applause there, because I always thought that we did this backward. They put us up on stage, they put us in the fancy robes, they give us the major bling, but it isn't about us. It's really about you. This is a celebration of your attainment. You have all made this journey together with your parents, your family, and your friends. And today, we're here to celebrate you and the fruits of your labors. Yes, here we hope you've gained wisdom and knowledge. You've grown, you've honed your abilities. You've earned a degree from a fine university, no small accomplishment, an accomplishment that will serve you well wherever you go and whatever you do. Today, you join a powerful and ever-expanding club as you become a graduate of the University of Massachusetts. You know, at latest count, there were 250,000 UMass graduates living and working in Massachusetts. 250,000, 250,000 graduates in a state of 6 million people. So UMass graduates will be your friends, your neighbors, your mentors, and your coworkers as you go forward in life. UMass graduates look to support each other, and I encourage you to plug into and help build and strengthen that UMass network. But you know, it's been a good year, and maybe you helped make it that good year. During this year, the University of Massachusetts received a lot of honors and plaudits. In fact, last fall, the Times of London newspaper, nice British newspaper, ranked the University of Massachusetts among the top 200 universities in the world. And there's a lot of universities in the world. That's right. And they ranked us 56th. 56th. Now, we were the only public university in New England to be among the 200 universities to appear in the World University Rankings, but we did have to share that ranking with Harvard, MIT, and Tufts, but you know, they're pretty good colleagues to have in there. I thought that was good. But now the Times of London, which is rapidly becoming my favorite newspaper, published its 2011 World Reputation Rankings. Did this one a little differently. They went out and asked 13,000 academics from all around the world, and they said, what are the best universities in the world? Who do you think the best universities are? You know where we ranked? 19th in the world. 19th in the world. Once again, we had to share the honor with, Harvard, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge. But once again, pretty good group to hang out with. So just in case we thought that was kind of an anomaly, just this month, Tsinghua University, the premier university in China, celebrated its centennial by hosting a global summit of university presidents. They invited the presidents of what they deemed to be the most important universities in the world, and only one public university in New England was invited again. The University of Massachusetts, your alma mater. The other New England schools invited were Harvard, Yale, and MIT. Again, not too bad company for your alma mater. So you are in a great place. And now, since Coach Calhoun's soon to be a graduate of UMass, maybe we'll get some advice on how we can get that basketball team up there, too. So, and by the way, when you're talking to some of your friends after graduation, some of your friends that went to those other Massachusetts schools who are going to be paying off their loans till they retire, well, you're a lot smarter than they are because you came to the University of Massachusetts. But then again, that's why you're here. We always knew that. You chose to attend one of the world's great universities, and I'm glad now that the world recognizes your choice. When you think a little bit about why is that the case, we're a 5-campus system, as you know, a national leader when it comes to research funding and earning licensing income from faculty discoveries. Our stellar faculty, and we got a lot of them behind us today, generate $500 million in research funding. Think of the Nobel Prize that Craig Mello from our medical school won several years ago, and think of the acclaim and the awards and accolades the UMass faculty on every campus are winning year in and year out. But the truth is, if you want to know why we're being celebrated as one of the best universities in the world, you have to stand where I'm standing, and you look out and see you, the members of the class of 2011, as well as your families and friends out there. Because you are great students. You're about to become great alumni, and that's what makes the University of Massachusetts great. And that is what's being noticed around the world. I also have to say, I'm a father of 4. I've got 2 out of college. I've got a rising sophomore, and I've got one that'll be a freshman next year, so I'm ticking off the days to the last tuition payment, of course. So I really have a lot of respect for parents and other family members that have stood with you over the years, and I am so glad that Chancellor Motley had you stand up and give each one of them some applause, because they have worked so hard for you today, and they are so very proud of you. But I also have a message to parents and family. It's a thank you message. And the thank you message is, thanks for entrusting your sons and daughters to us, or your brothers and sisters, or even your wives and husbands, or fathers and mothers. They're the lights of your lives. They've always made you proud. You want the very best from them. And from the moment they enrolled at the University of Massachusetts, we understood that we had a special obligation to them and to you to provide the world-class education that they've received. So today, at this bright and shining moment, I hope you're pleased with the results, because we are. We've worked hard to prepare your sons and daughters for their lives and careers, just as the university is working hard to produce the ideas and discoveries that will help drive our Commonwealth's innovation economy. One of our state's great advantages is it does possess these great universities. And these schools are economic engines, producing the intellectual capital that strengthens our existing companies and produces new companies and new jobs. I mentioned the $500 million in research. We also passed the $500 million in endowment this year. Why is that important? It took a lot of financial aid to get each of you to this point. And we've recognized that and had to build that financial aid. And in 8 years, we built the endowment from $140 million to $500 million to do this. And it's allowed us to over quadruple the financial aid to students over the last 8 years. So it's about creating better lives and better future for our citizens. And we were established 150 years ago, and that's the mission that drives us today. To conclude on just a quick personal note, as the Chancellor noted, that this is my graduation day as well. This is my last commencement as president of the University of Massachusetts as I move back into a faculty member role and actually as president of the Edward M. Kennedy Institute, which is going to be built off to the right, as Chancellor Motley told you a little earlier. It really has been an honor and privilege to serve for the past 8 years. And I'm looking forward to returning to the faculty and working on various projects like the Edward M. Kennedy Institute. That's been my lifelong passion. But the opportunity to lead this university has been a singular honor and experience. And that we've been able to make significant strides during this period is a source of great pride. Looking at all we've achieved, I have to point to the great efforts of our chancellors, Chancellor Motley and the other chancellors on the campus, our campus leadership, arrayed behind us and out front, our trustees, our faculty, and most especially our students. You know, there are days when you lead a complex institution like this with 68,000 students we have now. It's a $2.9 billion budget. And there are days when there are some headaches. You feel the brunt of those challenges. There are times when people have asked me whether it was all worth it. And over the last 8 years, my answers never wavered. At a moment like this, looking out over the graduates who are doing great things, are going to change the world, the answer is even more an obvious and a resounding yes. You know, I've enjoyed every minute of my presidency, and I know that you too are going to go forward. You're going to find equal satisfaction and equal fulfillment. So it is about you today. Congratulations to the class of 2011. It's been an honor and a joy to have you with us and to serve you. May you find success in everything that you do. Thank you and congratulations.
Now, unfortunately, the chair of the University of Massachusetts Board of Trustees, James Karam, was unable to join us today. But I have an unbelievable treat for you. In his stead, Stacia Lambert, our own University of Massachusetts Boston student trustee, will represent the Board of Trustees with just a few words of greetings to all of you. Stacia.
Thank you, Chancellor Motley. I would like to thank you and President Wilson for your leadership. Working together, you make this university and the university system a wonderful place for students. As student trustee, I am honored to represent Chair James Karam and the Board of Trustees today. It has been an honor to work with them over this past academic year. On behalf of the University Board of Trustees, I bring greetings to our faculty, distinguished guests, fellow trustees, elected officials, and especially today's graduates, their friends, and family. I would like to welcome our special guest, Principal Commencement Speaker and Chancellor's Medal recipient, Dr. Muriel A. Howard. I'd also like to congratulate the 2011 John F. Kennedy Award winner, Aaliyah McPherson. I also congratulate this year's medal recipients, Chancellor's Medal recipients, honorary degree recipients. Thank you all for celebrating with our university today. And most importantly, congratulations to all of you, our graduates of the class of 2011. I'll be where you are all next year, and I know how much you have worked to get to this point. You and your loved ones have much to celebrate today. My fellow trustees and I thank you for being a part of the University of Massachusetts and hope you will stay connected to this community for a long time after you leave in triumph today. Thank you.
So now, here's how it's going to go. We're going to get into a few awards, then we're going to get to you, okay? But let me just say something about these airplanes flying overhead. If you've never seen this campus from the air, when you fly into Boston, it's one of the most beautiful things. But every time all of you that are going to go off and do wonderful things around the world, fly back into Boston over your campus, I hope you think of your experience here. I hope you think of us. And I'm so glad they fly over this campus because of that reason. There's nothing more beautiful. So while it disrupts commencement just a little bit, when you're up there, it's unbelievable. So next time, take a look out the window and see your place. It's beautiful from that perspective. And so now, we're going to confer awards on 3 outstanding faculty members. We begin with the award for distinguished teaching.
Chancellor Motley, I have the privilege to introduce from the Department of English in the College of Liberal Arts the recipient of the 2011 Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Teaching, Professor Vivian Zamel.
Professor Zamel, since you joined our faculty over 30 years ago, you have set an example for the quality of teaching we value so highly at this university. You are a model, not only to the other faculty members, but to the thousands of students you have welcomed and inspired, who go on to teach and inspire their own students. Your colleagues and your students, 17 of whom nominated you for this award, praise your expertise and they praise your commitment. You are, they say, the epitome of a teacher's teacher. In recognition of your abilities and of your accomplishments, I am pleased to present you with the Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Teaching.
Chancellor Motley, I have the privilege to introduce from the Department of Psychology in the College of Liberal Arts the recipient of the 2011 Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Scholarship, Psychology Graduate Program Director and Professor Alice Carter.
Professor Carter, you are one of the country's leading scholars in the area of infant and toddler mental health. Your research and its applications have created the standards for assessing and identifying and predicting psychiatric disorders in the early development, saving time, saving money, and saving worry for countless families. You are an expert in your field, and as one of the most productive and prolific researchers on this campus, your work has brought acclaim not only to our psychology department, but to our great urban public student-centered research university. In recognition of your research and your expertise, I am pleased to present you with the Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Scholarship. Now, that's why you should have been at school today. She said it was the wrong way I put it on. Okay, is that the right way? Congratulations.
Chancellor Motley, I have the privilege to introduce from the Department of Biology in the College of Science and Mathematics, the recipient of the 2011 Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Service, Professor Manikum Sugumaran.
Professor Sugumaran, you are yet another faculty member whose research contributions are recognized worldwide. Today, we honor not only your expertise and your scholarship, but your commitment to serving this university and your commitment to serving its students. You are a leader in your department and in your college, but you're also a generous and an energetic participant in outreach programs for urban youth, and I love the fact that you're a philanthropist who is deeply committed to expanding access to higher education for all students. You have paved the way for this university to become the thriving research enterprise it is today. So, in recognition of your over 30 years of service to our campus, I am pleased to present you with the Chancellor's Award for Distinguished Service.
On this day, it is my privilege to join the Chancellor in presenting the John F. Kennedy Award for Academic Excellence to a most deserving student, Alia McPherson. Please come forward.
And so, at age 16, a family medical crisis forced our John F. Kennedy Award winner to drop out of high school and earn her GED. And it delayed her dreams of college for nearly 10 years. But she didn't stop. When she had the chance, she came to resume her studies. She didn't just accept that, she left. She has accumulated academic honors from Dean's List to Golden Key. Her professors are unanimous in their admiration of her fine mind. She has never closed her heart to giving back. When she learned that a favorite professor was diagnosed with breast cancer, she led a fundraising walk and raised over $7,000 for cancer research. She has traveled around the world, but also to Kenya several times to provide health care to impoverished villagers. As a student at Yale University's Family Nurse Practitioner program, when she goes there this fall, she will focus on eliminating health disparities in underserved communities, improving outcomes locally and also worldwide. A passion she discovered right here on this campus at the University of Massachusetts Boston's College of Nursing and Health Sciences. So in recognition of her academic excellence and her commitment to service, I am pleased to present the 2011 John F. Kennedy Award for Academic Excellence to Aaliyah McPherson. JFK Award winner Aaliyah McPherson will now present remarks on behalf of the class of 2011. Let's give her another round of applause. You're welcome.
Good morning. Class of 2011, can you believe it? We made it. 13 years ago, this day seems so very far out of my reach, as I'm sure was the case for many of us. But thanks to all of the incredible people we have crossed paths with on our journey here we are, college graduates. As I thought about all of the profound things I wanted to say today, the message I wanted to instill, the lasting impression I wanted to leave, one image continually manifested itself in my thought process. It is an image that has been with me for as long as I can remember, and it comes to the forefront of my thoughts during times when I need some guidance and direction for my next move. The image is a memory, one of my earliest, and it was the first of many important lessons my mother taught me about life. I was 5 years old. At the time, we were living by the Merrimack River, and she brought me down to the bridge by our house. She took one rock and tossed it over the side. As it dropped into the water, she pointed out the rings emanating from the center of where it fell. She told me that every person gives out an energy and has an impact and an imprint on the world, like the rings from the stone. She threw another rock in, very close to where the first had landed. The ripples from both crisscrossed and changed paths. She told me that my energy, choices, and direction would do this to everyone I encountered as I went through life, and that I would need to be aware of this when navigating my path. At 5 years old, my eyes were open to the concept and ideal that I have been dancing with my entire life. And because of that lesson, I know that I owe this honor of being the 35th JFK Award winner to all of those who have made such an indelible impression in my life. I have been blessed to have been given the many opportunities that I have, and time again I am reminded that very few things in life are ever achieved alone. I would like to take a moment to thank the families, friends, and UMass Boston professors who have supported not just me, but the entire class of 2011 in becoming the people we are today. I would also like to say a personal thank you to my own mother for teaching me to believe in myself, giving me the ability to navigate through life's challenges, and showing me the true meaning of love, strength, and resilience amidst circumstances that shake the very foundation of those attributes. There is no doubt in my mind that if it were not for your incredible parenting, I would never have made it through. So it seems as if it were yesterday that I walked into my first summer class here at UMass Boston. I remember being anxious, unsure of myself, and unclear as to where I was headed, as it had been so long since I had been in a classroom setting. A little less than 10 years earlier, a family medical crisis made finishing high school an impossibility, so I dropped out and got my GED instead. It took me almost a decade of working both full and part-time jobs and surviving a 4-letter word I call life before the opportunity to go to college presented itself to me. All I knew when I walked in the doors of UMass Boston was that I wanted an education and that I was ready to conquer whatever obstacles came my way. The word no was not something I was willing to accept any longer, especially in regards to my future. During that first class, something awoke inside of me that I did not know was there. My own energy encountered the energy at UMass Boston, and the ripple effect from that collision was dramatic. It was almost as if a switch had been flipped internally that sparked an insatiable drive to learn as much as possible, take every opportunity that came my way, and not stop until I had found not only my personal path, but my true calling in life. There are 1,001 reasons why pursuing a college education at that exact moment in my life was not ideal, but there was a much stronger pull that said, what if this is your last chance? What if this is your only chance? What happens if you never get the chance to try again? I applied to UMass Boston and did not get in right away. I was told that because of my GED scores, I would have to take a few classes and get good grades before a final decision was made. When I finally entered the university as an undeclared major, I set my sights on the College of Nursing and Health Sciences undergraduate nursing program. The idea of being a nurse not only made sense to me pragmatically, but clicked viscerally, as my mother was a nurse, and her passion for the profession was something that could not be ignored as I was growing up. I took all of the prerequisite nursing courses, and I was told many times over and in many different forms that our nursing program was exceptional, highly competitive, and that it would be a wise decision to have a backup plan, which incidentally I never came up with. I applied to our nursing program 3 times before I got in. I still have all of my rejection letters framed above my desk, reminding me that no only applies until you get a yes. During my first clinical nursing course, Professor Judith Healy-Walsh told us that she believed nursing was not a career, but rather a calling. This one statement resonated with me so intuitively, it was as if I could see yet again the collision of energies and choices and directions spreading out like rings. Nursing was my calling. And it was just a few months later that I was blessed with the single most incredible opportunity to date on my path to becoming a nurse, another stone in the river that carried me around the world. In the summer of 2009, I was given the opportunity to travel to Kenya with the Kenya Heart and Soul Effie and Ejima Project, which is an annual medical mission and research project studying cardiovascular disease and diabetes in the village populations surrounding Nairobi. This opportunity was the gift of 2 very amazing women, Dr. Eileen Stewart-Shore and Mercy Camo, who do not normally take sophomore nursing students on this trip, but accepted me that year after many persistent emails. I often wonder how different I would be if they had said no. My first trip to Kenya changed me on a deeply personal level. On that trip, the people I met, spoke with, and spent time with brought me right back to the day my mother taught me her most important lesson standing on the bridge. They showed me how, despite the incredible poverty, primitive infrastructure, lack of resources, and the many other staggering social and political problems, hope and love are still very much present, alive, and thriving. I could see it in every child's face, in every man's smile, in every woman's outstretched arms welcoming us into their villages, into their homes, and into their lives. This first trip to Kenya showed me how to be present in my own life with hope and love, even when my surroundings are in opposition to these attributes. When I came back home, I sincerely felt as if I had gotten more than I gave. I also felt as though my work was not done there, and I returned last year for a second trip. It was on this second trip that many things came full circle in my life, and I was finally able to define my future aspirations. As my fellow students in the College of Nursing and Health Sciences know, there are many ways to be a nurse. Until that second trip in Kenya, I lacked direction and focus for my future, but it soon hit me like a rock tossed off a bridge, and I was able to put some facts together. Although the United Nations declared in 1948 that everyone has the right to a standard of living adequate for health and well-being of himself and of his family, I did not have this experience during the family medical crisis that I went through at the end of my high school career. This showed me the downfalls and failings of our healthcare system here in the United States. 10 years later, in Kenya, I realized that in regard to health, we are in the midst of both a local and global crisis. While heart disease and cancer are significant health threats, health disparities such as lack of access, poor quality, high cost, and even language barriers are killing our diverse population quicker than any other disease out there. These are unacceptable, inexcusable facts. And while I was in Kenya, I made the conscious decision to spend my life and career reducing these barriers for individuals as well as populations across the world. I will be heading off to Yale School of Nursing later this year to continue studying and growing so that I am as prepared as possible for the road ahead of me. I won't ever forget that it was UMass Boston that helped me arrive at these realizations, gave me the foundation for my future, and provided me with opportunity after opportunity to succeed. Class of 2011, we are graduates of a unique university. I know I am not the only one here today who has been moved by the example to serve others that is so apparent on this campus. The ripple effect that UMass Boston has had on all of us will compel us to give back, to use our education and wisdom to help make the world a better place. Well, class of 2011, we did it. We made it to the end of this part of the journey. It is incredible. The future of both our country and our world is standing here today. We are the future, and there are so many things that we need to do. While the road has been long and for many of us paved with challenges and adversity, it is not time to rest. There is an enormous amount of work to be done in the world we live in, and the time to begin is right now. The end of this particular journey sparks not simply a call to action, but rather a scream to action. The community, country, and world need us to pave the new path of strength, courage, innovation, change, and above all, hope. We must remember that like the stones in the river, each of our actions, reactions, and interactions have an effect on the world we live in. Every choice we make, every action we take, every bit of energy we exude crosses the paths of others traveling along with us. I hope you will all remember the effects this university has had on us throughout our years here. I know I will. I am personally very proud to say that I am a member of this diverse graduating class. Wherever your journey takes you from this point forward, do not ever forget where you came from. Always be grateful for what you have, and do not accept the word no when you are fighting for your destiny. Thank you.
we will now present a honorary degree and a Chancellor's Medal for 2011. Our university bestows honorary degrees and Chancellor's medals upon individuals whose accomplishments clearly represent the values our institution holds dear. The University of Massachusetts President Jack Wilson and Chancellor Motley will confer the honors. Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, I have the honor to present to you Larry Lucchino to receive the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Businessman, sportsman, innovator, philanthropist, the University of Massachusetts Boston welcomes you, Larry Lucchino, on this commencement day. Throughout your leadership of the San Diego Padres, Baltimore Orioles, and the Boston Red Sox, you are an important part of America's pastime. In your 22 full seasons as president and CEO, you have reached postseason play 8 times, winning 3 pennants and 2 World Series. You are the first team president and CEO since the 1940s to win pennants for 2 different franchises in 2 different leagues. You have created ballparks that have transformed the fan experience and the neighborhoods around them. In Boston, you fought the impulse to raise and replace our much beloved Fenway Park, and we thank you for that.
Hear, hear.
Through a host of innovations, you've enhanced the fans' experience while respecting the integrity of the historic park and the surrounding neighborhoods. You have altered the club's human infrastructure as well, embracing the importance of diversity in the culture of the organization. You have stood out for your philanthropic commitments, establishing a major charitable foundation at each of the franchises you have led. You have particularly been involved here in Boston in the research and treatment of cancer, serving as co-chair of the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute's $1 billion, not 1 million, $1 billion capital campaign, which reached that formidable goal in 2009. You also serve on the boards of Special Olympics International, a one-time practicing lawyer, and you were born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where you were all-City League basketball player and a second baseman on the city's championship baseball team, an honors graduate of Princeton University, where you were on 2 Ivy League championship basketball teams, and a graduate of Yale University Law School. You have stood for excellence throughout your academic and your professional careers. So, in recognition of your lifetime commitment to excellence, we are pleased to confer upon you this degree of Doctors of Law, honoris causa.
Larry Lucchino, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees at the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. In accordance with usual custom and in token thereof, we award you this diploma and invest you with the hood of Doctor of Laws. Congratulations, Doctor.
Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, I have the honor to present to you Charles Angen Rose to receive the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
Youth worker, grassroots organizer, and entrepreneur, dreamer and doer. The University of Massachusetts Boston welcomes you, Charles Adrian Rose, on this, our commencement day. 21 years ago, you helped to found City Year. Since then, you have helped build that organization into a national model for youth community service organizations, and you've been involved with nearly every aspect of City Year's dynamic growth and their dynamic development. Throughout the countless initiatives you have launched, you have demonstrated the importance of hard work, courage, and also commitment. Prior to joining City Year, you were Director of Youth Services for the City of Boston's community centers, where you started a nationally recognized violence and gang prevention program, and this street worker program, often referred to as the Boston Miracle, has been widely cited as one of the main driving forces behind the steep decrease in the city's youth murder rates in the early 1990s. Other organizations have benefited from your wisdom and your contagious energy, including City on the Hill Charter School, Magic in Me Boston, United Youth Work Boston, Youth Worker Alliance, Math Youth Service Alliance, Teens as Community Resources, and My Town. Your vision, your effectiveness, know no boundaries. The Boston Celtics honored you as a hero among us, and you surely are one of those. You speak from the heart, you never flag in your personal or your social justice, and you excel at putting idealism to work. You are a living, exemplary life of grassroots community service. So, in recognition of your lifetime commitment to excellence, we are pleased to confer upon you this degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa of the University of Massachusetts, Boston.
Charles Adrian Rose, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa. In accordance with usual custom and in token thereof, we award you this diploma and invest you with the hood of Doctor of Humane Letters. Congratulations.
Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, I have the honor to present to you Francis Wong West to receive the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa.
You, Francis Wong West, are a leader in helping individuals develop to their fullest potential. The University of Massachusetts Boston welcomes you on this, our commencement day. You believe that technology can be an equalizer for people with special needs or disabilities, and you have helped bring the issue of accessibility into the mainstream of business. As worldwide director of the IBM Human Ability and Accessibility Center, a division of IBM Research, You are doing well by doing good. In the 30 years you have worked for IBM, you have sought to increase access for persons with disabilities, including our aging population. One of your goals is that the world stop thinking of accessible technologies as mere add-ons for disabled people and create embedded technologies that benefit all workers. Your vision is that all people will be able to work productively for as long as they desire to work. Born in Taiwan, you came to this country when you were 19. You attended the Chinese University of Hong Kong, Washington and Lee University in Virginia, and the University of Kentucky. You and your family now live in Newton, Massachusetts, but your impact knows no geographic boundaries. You have brought the cause of human rights for persons with disabilities to the United States Congress, the United Nations, and the European Union. You have helped forward-thinking companies realize the benefits of making their products, services, and information available to the widest possible audience. You have played a key role in a significant societal transformation and have won respect and gratitude from those who work with you and learn from you to better the world. That all may know of our respect and our esteem for your commitment to business excellence and access for disabled and aging, the University of Massachusetts Boston confers upon you, Francis Wong West, the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa.
Francis Wong West, by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. In accordance with usual custom and in token thereof, we award you this diploma and invest you with the hood of the Doctor of Science. Congratulations.
Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, I have the honor to present to you for investiture with the Chancellor's Medal for Distinguished Service, James C. Calhoun.
Coach, motivator, philanthropist, and role model. The University of Massachusetts Boston welcomes you, Coach Jim Calhoun, on this, our commencement day. Born and raised in Braintree, you were a 3-sport letter winner in high school. When you were just 15, your father passed away and you shelved your dreams of college to take on the provider role for your 5 siblings. But you overcame adversity to graduate from American International College in Springfield, Massachusetts, where you captained the basketball team. You began your career coaching high school basketball, then you cut your teeth coaching at Northeastern University. You built the men's basketball team into a dominant power. At the University of Connecticut, you established a tradition of winning and a tradition of excellence. As the head coach, you've led your team to 3 national championships, one of only 5 coaches in men's college ranks ever to do so. Your record has propelled you into the National Collegiate Basketball Hall of Fame and the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield. Now, as stellar as your basketball accomplishments might be, that's not why you're here today. You're here because you've achieved much off the court as well. You and your wife, Pat, are known for your philanthropy, including the Pat and Jim Calhoun Cardiology Center and the Cardiology Research Fund at the University of Connecticut. Your annual holiday food drive has raised nearly $1 million for the hungry. You have generously supported the American Cancer Society through Coaches versus Cancer. You have given your time, your talent, and your support of numerous other fundraising efforts. Now, you got into coaching because you wanted to help young people not to just play basketball, but to build their character. You're known for developing not just great athletes, but also great human beings. High standards, accountability, and commitment to leadership are your mantra. You are an inspiration to us all. So in recognition of your lifetime commitment to excellence, we are pleased to confer upon you this Chancellor's Medal of the University of Massachusetts, Boston.
James C. Calhoun, please accept my congratulations on behalf of the University of Massachusetts system for receiving the Chancellor's Medal. In accordance with the usual custom and in token thereof, we award you this Chancellor's Medal for distinguished service. Congratulations.
Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, I have the honor to present to you Dr. Muriel A. Howard for investiture with the Chancellor's Medal for Distinguished Service.
Educator, leader, advocate, role model. The University of Massachusetts Boston welcomes you, Dr. Muriel A. Howard, on this, our commencement day. 2 years ago, you became president of the American Association of State Colleges and Universities. You are ASCU's first female president and the first African American to lead one of the 6 presidentially based higher education associations in Washington, D.C. You, Dr. Howard, are a staunch advocate for public higher education at the national level, working to influence federal policy and regulations on behalf of ASCU member colleges and universities. You are an invaluable resource to presidents and chancellors all over this nation as they address state policy and emerging campus challenges. For nearly 25 years, you were the Vice President for Public Service and Urban Affairs at the University at Buffalo, where you shone and shined in various significant roles. Then from 1996 to 2009, under your guidance, Buffalo State College greatly increased and enhanced its academic programs and services, expanded teacher preparation, and took a preeminent position in the fields of arts and culture. Not surprisingly, you have received many awards for your contributions to public higher education, for your service to the community, and for your commitment to diversity. Now, the Buffalo News called you the most powerful woman in Western New York. But we all know that your influence extends much farther than that. Now you're one of the most powerful women in America. Your professional and your scholarly interests have been driven They've driven you to become engaged in many educational and leadership activities, from your local community to the national arena. You're an adept person at building connections, and you understand the impact of colleges and universities on their communities, the importance of providing services for nearby residents, upward mobility for students, and growth for city and state economies. So, in recognition of your lifetime contributions and commitment to public service and the pursuit of educational excellence, we are pleased to confer upon you this Chancellor's Medal of the University of Massachusetts, Boston.
Muriel Howard, please accept my congratulations on behalf of the University of Massachusetts system for receiving the Chancellor's Medal. In accordance with usual custom and in token thereof, we award you this Chancellor's Medal for distinguished service. Congratulations.
So where are you going? Get back up here. I know this is not on the program because we know you're nosy.
It's not here.
For those of you who don't know what nosy means, he likes to look into stuff that he's not supposed to look at.
True.
Now, you didn't think we're going to let you walk away from here with nothing on your last commencement at your favorite university campus.
I don't have, I got all them. This is not nothing.
Now, I know our esteemed commencement speaker is supposed to be up here talking right now, but first, we've agreed that we take this moment to bestow one last well-deserved honor upon someone who is very close to us today. Right now, I have the honor to present to you Jack and Wilson. Step out there for investiture with the Chancellor's Medal for Distinguished Service. Come on up here, Provost. He always wanted us, move further out. Listen, this is the last commencement, so I'm bossy today. Physics professor, innovator, entrepreneur, academic giant of the University of Massachusetts, Boston, we welcome you today, Jack and Wilson, on this, our commencement day. Every place you have served has grown in stature and has grown in impact. 25th President of the University of Massachusetts, you have led our 5-campus, 68,000 student system for nearly 8 years. As president, your mantra has been accessibility, research, and discovery in the public interest. You've breathed new life into the concept of the university as the state's innovative engine, proclaiming the path to economic and social development in Massachusetts goes through the University of Massachusetts. That's my Jack Wilson imitation. Yeah, that was pretty good. You revitalized the program of capital projects. 3 to 4 of them are getting ready to go up on this campus, adding new classrooms, labs, student recreation facility, and housing. Oh, I was stuck for a moment. All a concrete testament to your vision. The creation of a law school is also a credit to your determination. At any measure, your accomplishments here have been outstanding. You've grown the university's financial aid, enrollment, endowment, research grants, and revenues generated from intellectual property initiatives. You have built strong links among higher education, government, and business. You're renowned nationally and internationally for your leadership in the reform of higher education, having won major awards for your innovative programs. Your success as the CEO of UMass Online has been breathtaking. It is now one of the largest online education programs in the United States. That's right. Got some graduates over there. Oh, I love it because you've made our international programs part of your priority and made this institution the first foreign university approved to provide online education in China. Now, though you are stepping down as president and you're going to become president emeritus and distinguished professor and all that stuff, the stellar impact of your presidency will long endure. We look forward to close relationships with you. You have said you'll be on this campus working hard at STEM issues, but we're going to be glad to have you right next door working with the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate as you return to both your teaching and sharing your knowledge with the next generation. So, in recognition of your lifetime commitment to excellence and your special relationship to this campus, we're pleased to confer upon you this Chancellor's Medal from the University of Massachusetts, Boston.
And he did it. He surprised me. I had no idea. Thank you.
And so, now, President Wilson, you have a lot of bling on over there, okay? Now, I'm going to ask Dr. Muriel Howard to come forward and deliver our 2011 commencement address. Dr. Muriel Howard. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have 15 minutes left in the morning. Thank you, Chancellor Motley, for that lovely welcome, and thank you so much for bestowing the prestigious honor upon me. It not only brings honor to me personally, but it also brings great honor to my family. My husband is here with me today, and also to the American Association of State Colleges and Universities. First thing I want to do is to extend my congratulations to the class of 2011. You're just moments away from officially becoming graduates of this great university. Today, we celebrate a pivotal moment in your lives. You will never forget this day. For as long as memory serves, you will recall the people who are here with you. You will remember your tremendous feeling of accomplishment. And when I say that, I'm not just talking to the graduates. We know you feel a sense of accomplishment today, but your parents, your family, your friends, and loved ones also should feel a great sense of accomplishment and pride. So should your faculty mentors, the staff of this great university as well. So whether you are receiving your bachelor's, your master's, or your doctor's degree today, nobody finishes a university degree alone. Your families and loved ones have made sacrifices so that we could have this celebration. You know, the city of Boston is famous across the globe for the excellence of its colleges and universities, and so you can take pride in the fact that you are graduating from one of the very best. Maybe UMass doesn't go back to the 17th century, but as Boston's only public research university, this campus is an incubator for the future. Because of the University of Massachusetts, is in the business of transforming lives through higher education. That is the journey you signed on for, and that is the journey you are completing today. Because of this university, your life will never be the same. And believe me, as a first-generation college graduate, I know it is worth the sacrifice. In spite of today's economy, the average college graduate can still expect to earn double what a high school graduate will earn over the course of a lifetime. That amounts to about $1 million each. But more importantly, you can generally expect greater life satisfaction, a greater feeling and sense of control over your destiny, and a greater capacity to make critically informed decisions about your lives and your communities. All of this is good news for your parents and family who are eager for you to get on with your lives. In fact, some of them have plans for your room. And all family members have a burning desire to stop feeding that ATM machine. Chancellor Motley tells me that today's graduates represent 139 countries and speak 90 languages. Yes, you are the world. But that is only part of the story. Global events play a larger role in the lives of today's graduates than in any other moment in history. Yes, the world gets smaller and smaller, especially because of technology. And the truth is, maybe more than ever, the world needs institutions like this one, and we need the individuals who will graduate today. This is the spirit with which this campus has embarked upon a 25-year master plan and its first academic construction in 30 years. From the new Edward M. Kennedy Institute to the Integrated Science Complex to the Future Center Plaza that will be as large as Harvard Yard, UMass Boston is on the move. If you doubt the future is upon us, just take a look at those cranes when you leave campus today. Because when you return as alumni, that's going to be the new Integrated Science Complex. It is also evidence of a great public research university. And it's the kind of university that the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts deserves. Now, why is that? Well, today I look upon a diverse population of eminent graduates prepared not only to compete in a multifaceted and ever-changing global society, but to contribute to society as well. And so it may seem counterintuitive, but at an institution like this one, or at any of our ASCU member institutions, students take so that they can give. The last few months leading up to this day have been rather astonishing in terms of global events. Today's graduates will remember that their final weeks at UMass Boston marked the death of Osama bin Laden and a dramatic freedom movement called Arab Spring that swept across the Middle East. And country after country, people were calling for American-style democracy, not for the ideals represented by al-Qaeda. No one in the streets of Cairo chanted bin Laden's name. What do the people of Tunisia, Egypt, Yemen, Libya, and Syria want? They want to make a dignified living. They want education for their children. They want the opportunity to travel and to express themselves through art and music. They want to vote. They want to live more the way we do. Well, you don't have to start a revolution to make a difference. Think of the words of Anne Frank, who wrote, "Isn't it wonderful that we don't need to wait a single moment to help improve the world?" You know, that is so true, because in an instant, you can turn to the person next to you and say something kind. In an instant, you can offer help. In an instant, you can say no to tyranny, dishonesty, and corruption. As individuals with university degrees, each of today's graduates is in an excellent position to do a great deal more. In fact, that is what we expect of you. As educated people, you have learned to examine your lives, but you have learned to look beyond your own selves. Henry David Thoreau, one of the many great writers and thinkers from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, observed, "I know of no more encouraging fact that the unquestioned ability of man to elevate his life by conscious endeavor. That is what every student here has done." Thoreau also urges us to go confidently in the direction of our dreams, to live the lives we've imagined. And he reminds us that as we simplify our lives, the laws of the universe will be simpler too. In many ways, this complex world is very simple. Every international issue has its local dimension. So when I was president of Buffalo State College, I was very naturally focused on the needs of my students, their healthcare needs. What were the job prospects like? But my move to the nation's capital 22 months ago involved a shift in perspective. Without a specific campus to call my own, issues became far more global in every sense of the word. Small events begin to reverberate with a larger resonance when your local politicians are the President of the United States, the Secretary of State, and the Supreme Court. Yes, Washington is a place where the extraordinary can begin to seem ordinary, and where the ordinary can become almost surreal. One of my lifetime heroes is Marion Wright Edelman, president of the Children's Defense Fund. And it was very humbling when I learned that she was previously honored with the award that I received today by this great institution. And so I was invited a couple of months to an event honoring her. I was very excited. In my mind, I knew I was meeting a legend and a giant, but in reality, I met an ordinary person. For a moment, I felt disappointed. I don't know what I expected, a light to shine from above, or a band to play as it does when President Obama walks into the room. But after meeting Marion Wright Edelman, I found inspiration in the very fact that my hero seemed so average. Many of the great people I have met in person seem ordinary. Actually, many of the greats of history have too. Rosa Parks, who changed history by taking a seat on a Montgomery City bus in 1955, would tell us all the time, "I'm just an ordinary person." The great lady herself, Eleanor Roosevelt, always presented herself as just an ordinary person. Of course, the truth is, there was something wonderful and extraordinary about each of these people. But it is also true that they are wonderful and extraordinary things about every person and every student here. Today, as we celebrate the newest graduates of the University of Massachusetts Boston, we want to encourage you to discover the capacity to make something extraordinary happen. And certainly we know Aaliyah is on her way. Last summer, Smithsonian Magazine celebrated 40 years of publication, and they came out with a special issue to mark the event, describing how American innovation had changed the world over the past 40 years. They predicted that American innovation would continue to conquer the challenges we face now over the next 40 years ahead. And you know, I think so too, because every generation bears the responsibility to pick up the mantle from the generation before. That task has not been easy for my generation, and some might even question how well we've been doing, because we followed the greatest generation. You know, the generation that survived the Great Depression, and defeated the Nazis? Okay, I'll admit that was pretty impressive, but I'll also assert with modesty that the legacy of my own generation will not be a total embarrassment. The previous generation before us started the Cold War. We ended it. Our generation walked on the moon. We cured polio. We pioneered the World Wide Web. We decoded DNA. We tore down the Berlin Wall. We brought peace to Northern Ireland. We ended apartheid. We produced Phantom of the Opera and Angels in America. They gave the world Glenn Miller and Ella Fitzgerald, but we gave it the Beatles, Bob Marley, and the Supremes. The closer we get to the contemporary moment, however, your moment, the more difficult it is going to be to predict the future and what will endure. Will generations celebrate Dancing with the Stars, the iPad, Lady Gaga, Jennifer Holliday? Who knows? But of my own generation, I can say with confidence, some historians will remember us with admiration. True, we will leave a good deal undone, but so did our forebears. And as time marches on, our time will soon come to an end. And whenever I doubt that, I remind myself that for the first time in my life, the President of the United States is younger than I am. But until my time is over, I will keep striving to understand others and to leave the world a little better than I found it. It is the task of our lives to make that effort. You know, we're told that the American century is over, but is that really true? In that landmark issue of the Smithsonian I referred to, geopolitical scientist George Friedman wrote a very provocative piece. According to him, the American century has just begun. So think about it. During the first half of the century, the United States was marginal to what was happening in the world. But from 1945 to 1991, we were stuck in an expensive and counterproductive standoff with the Soviet Union. Our country, though, is now the world's one and only global power. And we have held that distinction for really less than 20 years. Yes, we hear that the Chinese economy is growing by leaps and bounds, and it is. Still, the U.S. economy is 3 times larger than China's. That's $10 trillion larger. Remember, fully 25% of the world's economic activity happens here in the United States. And for that very reason, we need China and India and the Congo to be successful. We need nations like Turkey and Poland to emerge as more global leaders. I dare say that most Americans want all the people of the world, from China to Egypt, from Syria to the Ivory Coast, to enjoy the benefits of democracy and economic prosperity. Poverty and tyranny in this world benefit no one. As President Obama said in his recent speech before the British Parliament, the time for our leadership is now, and it is embodied in today's class. So what will the global impact be for today's graduates? We have educated today's graduates so that they can be ready to inherit a complex world. If this is to be the American century, it is also destined to be the century of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the University of Massachusetts, Boston. This is your century. So what can I give you to take away from this day? How can I help you invite future success and face the challenges ahead? First, I urge you to stay on the learning curve. Your education should not end today. You should embrace learning as long as you live. And to do that, I'll let you in on a secret of mine. I encourage you to create your own personal CEO advisory board for your life. I'm talking about a group of trusted friends and mentors who can advise you, listen to your concerns, and help you get through the issues of your life. The doctoral students here and the master's students know what I am talking about, or they would have never finished to be graduating today. I want you to know that's what I did. And when I became president of Buffalo State College, my mother appointed herself the board president. And I had a very successful 13 years as college president. Who else should be on your advisory board? Well, include a childhood friend, whether you were born and raised here in Massachusetts or whether you are from Shanghai. It's good to keep in touch with someone who knew you when and who understands where you came from. And I know President Motley and all of our honorees today here would agree with me. Include a senior citizen. It's not the years that make the difference, it's the wisdom. Include a faculty member or two. In the age of Facebook, there's no excuse for not keeping in touch with your university mentors. Select staff or other campus leaders who will be honest with you, who are easy to talk to, and to whom you will listen. Include a classmate. Choose someone who likes you, who is honest with you, and who also has additional aspirations. Now, your advisory board will change with the years, but it will support you throughout your life and career. Finally, remember that you have a responsibility to help others. That responsibility is the task of your life, and it starts today. With those principles in mind, you're going to be successful, you're going to be sensational. I applaud the energy, the confidence, and the seriousness of purpose that I feel in this graduating class. I congratulate you on the success you have already invited through the achievement of a university degree. I celebrate your future triumphs. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Howard. We're honored by your presence, and we appreciate your words of wisdom. And now, we've come to the most important part of our ceremony, the conferral of graduate and undergraduate degrees, and the certificates of advanced graduate study to 3,637 students from the University of Massachusetts, Boston. Thank you, Chancellor Martin.
Thank you, Chancellor Motley. We begin by presenting the candidates for doctoral degrees. Would the Dean of Graduate Studies, Dr. Joan Leem, please step forward? Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, I have the honor to present to you the 32 candidates present today who have satisfied the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, or Doctor of Education, and who have been recommended for these degrees by the faculty of the College of Liberal Arts, the College of Science and Mathematics, the College of Education and Human Development, the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, and the John W. McCormack Graduate School of Policy and Global Studies. We will confer doctoral degrees by college. Following the recognition of our doctoral candidates, University of Massachusetts President Jack Wilson will confer the degrees. Will Donna Koisinger, Dean of the College of Liberal Arts, please come forward as the 7 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees. Stephanie Carroll Day, Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Meredith Heavens, Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Carlin A. Green, Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Patricia Happy Lee, Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Michael J. D. Rowlock, Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Catherine Rose Bede Talman, Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Lindsay Mitchell West, Doctor of Philosophy in Clinical Psychology. Will Andrew Gosowski, Dean of the College of Science and Mathematics, please come forward as the 8 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees. Elizabeth Ellen Boyle, Doctor of Philosophy in Biology, Environmental Biology. Wei Huang, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Sciences, Environmental, Earth, and Ocean Sciences. Kristen Frederick Crawford, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Sciences, Environmental, Earth, and Ocean Sciences. Is not here. All right. Aditya M. Kulkarni, Doctor of Philosophy in Green Chemistry. Franco Paula, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Sciences, Environmental, Earth, and Ocean Sciences. Justin Robert Whitfield, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, Green Chemistry. Dang Zhang, Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, Department of Green Chemistry. Jun Zhou, Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Sciences, Environmental, Earth, and Ocean Sciences. That's yours. Will Felicia Wilsinski, Dean of the College of Education and Human Development, please come forward as the 8 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Sandra Lee Blanchette, Doctor of Education, Higher Education Administration. Paul Di Francesca, Doctor of Education in Education, Higher Education Administration. Winifred Hagen, Doctor of Education in Education, Higher Education Administration. William Heinemann, Doctor of Education in Education, Higher Education Administration. Diane K. Kelly, Doctor of Education in Education, Leadership in Urban Schools. Sheila L. Cookstes, Doctor of Education in Education, Leadership in Urban Schools. Maura M. Morse, Doctor of Education in Education, Leadership in Urban Schools. Catherine Marie Neville, Doctor of Education in Education, Higher Education Administration. Will Greer Glazer, Dean of the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, please come forward as the 4 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees? Charles R. Alexander, Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing. Catherine Patricia Hickson, Doctor of Philosophy in Nursing. Anne Naomi Woolrich Baxter, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Patricia Ann Holland, Doctor of Nursing Practice. Associate Dean Chan of the McCormack Graduate School of Policy and Global Studies, please come forward as the 5 doctoral candidates in your college receive their degrees. Jennifer Cohen, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy. Berna Kumraman, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy. Kimberly Ann Pulhahu, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy. Shelley Tinkham, Doctor of Philosophy in Public Policy. Andrea T. Tull, Doctor of Philosophy in Gerontology. That's all.
Now, if all the doctoral candidates, I believe, are already risen, if you aren't, please rise for the conferral of the degree. By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, Doctor of Nursing Practice, or Doctor of Education as recommended by the faculty of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. In accordance with custom, you as individuals are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to these degrees here and elsewhere. Congratulations, doctors.
Thank you, President Wilson. Doctoral recipients, please be seated. We will now present the candidates for master's and bachelor's degrees. Their diplomas will be distributed during the college ceremonies later today. With the 1,201 candidates for master's degrees, graduate certificates, postmaster's certificates, and certificates of advanced graduate study in the College of Liberal Arts, College of Management, the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, the College of Public and Community Service, the College of Science and Mathematics, the College of Education and Human Development, and the John McCormack Graduate School of Policy Studies, please rise and remain standing.
Come on, rise up.
Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, on the recommendation of the faculty and deans, I have the honor to present to you the candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the degree of Master of Arts, or Master of Fine Arts, or Master of Science, or Master of Education, or Master of Business Administration, or for the graduate certificates, or postmaster certificates, or certificates of advanced graduate study.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon the certified students the degree of Master of Arts, or Master of Fine Arts, or Master of Science, or Master of Education, or Master of Business Administration, or for graduate certificates, postmaster certificates, or certificates of advanced graduate study, as recommended by the faculty of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. In accordance with custom, you as individuals are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to this degree here and elsewhere. Congratulations to each of you.
Thank you, President Wilson. Will our master's and postmaster's certificate, graduate certificate, and certificate of advanced graduate study recipients now please be seated? Now we will present the bachelor's degree. As your colleges are announced, please rise and remain standing. Dean Donna Kaisinger of the College of Liberal Arts, please step forward. On the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, will the 1,078 candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science in the College of Liberal Arts please rise and be recognized? Dean Philip Qualieri of the College of Management, please step forward. On the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, will the 492 candidates for Bachelor of Science degree in the College of Management please rise and be recognized? Dean Greer Glazer of the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, please step forward. On the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, will the 496 candidates for the Bachelor of Science degree in the College of Nursing and Health Sciences please rise and be recognized? Dean Coral Ferguson of the College of Public and Community Service, please step forward. On the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, will the 75 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the College of Public and Community Service please rise and be recognized? Dean Andrew Gosowski of the College of Science and Mathematics, please step forward. On the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, will the 248 candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science in the College of Science and Mathematics please rise and be recognized? Dean Felicia Wilsinski of the College of Education and Human Development, please step forward. On the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, will the one candidate for the degree of Bachelor of Arts and the College of Education and Human Development please rise and be recognized?
Yeah.
Chancellor Motley and President Wilson, I have the honor to present to you the 2,390 candidates who have satisfied the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science in the College of Liberal Arts, the College of Management, the College of Nursing and Health Sciences, the College of Public and Community Service, the College of Science and Mathematics, the College of Education and Human Development, and who have been recommended for these degrees by their faculty.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Massachusetts, I confer upon the certified students the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science as recommended by the faculty of the University of Massachusetts Boston. In accordance with custom, you as individuals are entitled to all the rights and privileges which pertain to this degree here and elsewhere. Congratulations, graduates. You are now alumni.
Congratulations. Okay. I only have one more thing to ask you to do for me as Chancellor right now. It's the last thing we're doing before we move to procession and end the event. I have to have you inducted into our Alumni Association. So have a seat, and we're going to do the induction right now. A custom at each university commencement is the induction of all of our graduates into the family of alumni of the University of Massachusetts Boston. We do this because the strength of the university depends on each and every one of you. Now, there are nearly 90,000 alumni, as I mentioned earlier, of the University of Massachusetts Boston, State College of Boston, State Teachers College at Boston, and we go back to Boston Normal School, which has roots back into 1853. Alumni of all these proud institutions give witness to the great value of public higher education. Would Adrian K. Hagerbrook come up here from the class of 2002 and president of the University of Massachusetts Boston Alumni Association, and I'm also going to ask our student trustee, Stacia Lambert, to come representing the student body. Please come forward for the Alumni Association induction.
Will all the members of the class of 2011 please stand? Chancellor Motley and Alumni Association President Hagerbrook, inscribed upon this scroll are the names of every class of 2011 undergraduate and graduate student. I request that each name be permanently added to the list of distinguished and revered alumni of the University of Massachusetts Boston. We ask that the University of Massachusetts Boston Alumni Association help direct our service to the university so that our class joins all alumni in helping to bring honor to our university.
Thank you. Class of 2011, we welcome you to the UMass Boston Alumni Association. All University of Massachusetts Boston alumni join you in your pledge to bring honor to this Boston's great public university. We welcome you to the association, and we wish you much, much success. Welcome and thank you.
Before we dismiss each college to conduct its own separate ceremony, our University of Massachusetts Boston Chamber Singers will lead us in the singing of the UMass Boston Alma Mater, a song that celebrates the tradition and values of our university. Please refer to the inside back cover of your programs for the lyrics and the very special history of the song.
We beheld UMass Boston, the torch in your hand,
light through the passage of years, as our dreams dispel doubts and our hopes assuaged fears, as our eyes watch that gleam with conviction and trust, and we learn to place faith in the good and the just, and we learn to place faith in the good and the just.
May the torch never dim as life beckons us forth. May it shine like a true well of fathomless worth. Like all ships setting sail, may we steer evermore by that beacon of beauty and truth on the shore. By that beacon of beauty and truth on the shore.
Chancellor. And so, we now conclude the main ceremony of our 43rd commencement. The provost will give you recession directions in a moment. Graduates, as you go forth, take pride in the University of Massachusetts, Boston, and make us prouder of you. Congratulations, class of 2011. Congratulations.
Each college will be led by its dean and faculty to the separate college ceremonies. We ask that family and friends remain in your places until all graduates have recessed. Marshal Tobin and the flag bearers, please take your places. Doctoral graduates, please rise and follow the stage party to the center of the aisle.